Hello class, so today we're doing a screencast on the work toward the final essay. And so I've tried to simplify this as much as possible so it's as straightforward as I could make it for you guys so that we're not doing too much work here at the end, okay? So this is for two of the three colleges I teach. So we have Front Range and CCA. So the Front Range due dates are July 24th, 11:30 p.m. Then CCA, the due date is Friday, July 31st, 11:30 p.m. So see this as a pretty generous time frame here that I have you working on these. So I also have noted here, no late work accepted. Please don't ask. In other words, I don't accept late work, okay? So if it's late, I will give you a 0. Then the point value will be combined with our weekly study objective point value. Okay, so in other words, I'm going to be doing that in the gradebook so that it's going to be worth more than what it is now. I'm not quite sure what that point value is right off the top. I can't get into D2L, so but I'll be sure to do that in the gradebook. Okay. And then we will not have a study objective due on the week this is due. We will have our weekly discussions due on these weeks. Okay. So I have this all laid out on D2L. Okay, so in other words, there's going to be a little bit of a shuffle as far as some of our study objectives, and that'll be clear as it works out. Okay, and then likewise, we're going to be working through our discussions, etc. So then the word count minimum is 375 times 2, which is 750 words minimum. So see that as a minimum. And I'm fine if you go over that, obviously, but try to keep that within reason, okay? So if it were like 800, I probably would be fine, but anything that's exceeding something like 800 would be a bit much, okay? So try to keep it around 750, approximately. Then the first short essay is going to be on Descartes. Okay, so we already have covered Descartes. So I just want you to see this as a refinement to see how well we could refine these points on Descartes in 375 words. Okay, so be sure you're clearly writing about epistemology. In other words, be clear on what epistemology is as the predominant theme of this section. Okay. Of this short writing. And also, too, this need not be in two files either. I'm fine if these are both the same files, but obviously it's going to have to be clear as to which is which, right? So then with the first one, show how reason is understood by way of René Descartes. Okay. Then show how reason is connected to skepticism for Descartes. In other words, how is René Descartes skeptical, and how is that related to reason? Okay. Then show how Descartes' skepticism is understood by way of metaphysics in terms of what is and what is not. So we've been going through that as a theme, and we're seeing that metaphysics is an underlying way in which we also understand rationalism too. So metaphysics is an underlying way in which we understand epistemology as well. So think about that. Then 3, also show how reason is objective and not subjective for Descartes. So in other words, we've been visiting objectivity and subjectivity. So how is Descartes' rationalism objective? What about his rationalism is emblematic of how it is that we understand objectivity? And then likewise, how is that related to subjectivity here? Okay, so you're going to show me how you see that working. Okay, so there, 375 words about. There. Now, epistemology, metaphysics, and empiricism. Be sure you are clearly writing about epistemology as the predominant theme of this section. So in other words, you're showing me how epistemology is understood by way of David Hume now, okay? And it's not David Hume's. For some reason, students want to attach an S to his last name. It's David Hume. So show how David Hume is skeptical of reason by way of causation. How is Hume's empiricism related to habit and his problem with causation? Then how does Hume's skepticism relate to metaphysics in terms of what is and what is not? Okay, so we're going to be visiting that theme again, but we're going to now connect it to David Hume. And then 3, how does Hume's problem of causation relate to his problem of induction? Okay, so in other words, I outline this in the video, and then likewise the reading covers it as well. And so I want you to show me how that's actually working, okay? So as I pointed out in the past with past assignments, the easiest way to get good points on these is to make sure that you hit each one of these points as specifically as possible. So in other words, not only are you hitting the points, but you're also showing how these things are working, okay? Notice how the key word in all of these is how. So see that as one of the ways that you're tackling these, is you're actually showing me the mechanics of how this is working. You're showing me how the philosophy is working in Descartes' rationalism and in David Hume's empiricism. So that's really important for me when I read your work, that you hit all the criteria points. You're avoiding grammatical errors. You're reading these over to yourself to see if there's any awkward sentences. And then you're also asking yourself, is this as specific as I possibly can be to what it is that I learned about Descartes and what it is that I learned about David Hume? Okay, so be sure that you edit these so that I don't find a bunch of spelling errors and awkward sentences, etc. Okay? So, and likewise, if you have any questions before this, don't hesitate to email me or text me or whatever you want to get a hold of me to ask me questions about these so that I could help you understand them better. And then likewise, I'm going to try as much as I can to have our study objective assignments when they're due to be practice rounds of this stuff as well. Okay, so think about that, and we'll take it from there and talk to you later. Bye-bye.